Right. Alright guys and girls, welcome back to another video of mine on my YouTube channel. Probably the last video I'm going to do for this morning, because I'm going to go to bed in a minute. It's just coming up to 5 o'clock in the morning. It's Friday 7th of July 2017. I'm at the moment, I've got my little Joy-Con controller for my Switch, which I'm actually playing through here. Just playing some of the single player. I did a little bit of, actually I've done quite a lot of the multiplayer one tonight. I played like 2 hours of it since I last did my last video of my Switch, which I bought. And me and my friend was like, we're talking on Facebook. We were talking about some of the games that should be released and stuff, like for either for Virtual Console or maybe like a full remastered game. And actually there's two games that comes to mind I would love for the Switch, and it's actually done by Nintendo, or actually more like Rare for the one, and the other one I think is like LucasArts and all that. But anyway, back on the N64, the Nintendo 64, I used to play some really good old classic games. And the classic games, right? Two classic games that came to mind the other day when I was literally just looking around the shops for a Switch is, why can't they just release, right? Now bear in mind, why can't they release James Bond's 007, right? GoldenEye, the original N64, Nintendo 64 version. It's a classic. They had like the full split screen where it was into four, so you could. I remember going to one of these game shops back in the days and used to pay like I think it was like $1.50 an hour or something in one of these game shops, and you just sit in there. It's like more of a like an old coffee shop type of thing, but they used to have like sort of game boards on the table, like strategy game boards and all that. And I remember going in there quite often, coming out of school, going into town. This was at Western actually. This was about, I'd say 10, 15, but actually probably 17 years now, because I remember I used to go in there around about the 90s. And I used to play shitloads the N64, and used to also play what's that other game we used to play? Castlevania 64. Now that was fucking awesome back in the days. But I'd love like a full release. I know they brought a release of GoldenEye back on the 360, on the Xbox 360. And I don't call that okay, you call that a James Bond remaster, but what they've done, they haven't kept the original like character in there. Basically, they used some of the background. I'll give you some of the footage. They did like the bungee shit going on, where they'd done the bungee jumping. Then they had that other game that came out afterwards, 007 Legends. Now that was a good game. I gotta admit, that was a fucking good game, 007 Legends. And I'm hoping they make another version of 007 GoldenEye, and this time not have Daniel Craig in it, because to be honest, I mean, no point intending to insult him. He's a fucking great James Bond. I love him because he's more gruesome and he's more like, he gets in there and punches the shit out of it. In GoldenEye, you had Pierce Brosnan, and I thought he was alright actually. He seemed like the sweet, charming guy, but if you get on his nerves or something, like a cigarette or something, give him a cigarette for that 007, and then he gives you like a knockout for that James Bond. That'd be fucking fantastic. I remember in GoldenEye, that one, but actually no, that was in Tomorrow Never Dies, where he was like nicking that flipping jet plane. And oh my god, actually this is what they should do, is do some more James Bond films. I know they got like GoldenEye and all that. Maybe do like a sort of a combination of all the old original films. I'm actually playing my Switch at the moment, which I bought yesterday. And to be honest, on my 4K screen, it's quite smooth. It runs flipping smooth in the docking station. So I'm playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Edition. It's got loads of characters in it. My god, I was like, what the hell? Like, I don't know why. I don't think they had Diddy Kong in there though. You had like you got Donkey Kong, but I haven't seen Diddy Kong. I don't know if he is actually amiibo that you can use to put into there, or if it just puts up the stats, makes the cars go faster, or whatever. I don't actually know what the amiibos are anyway, but I'm sure I'll find out at some point when I start collecting them. But apparently they're supposed to make the stats go up or something. Also, a friend of mine wants a release, like a remastered version or a port over for Mario Party 10. And I think I got that on somewhere. I'm not too sure. I think I got Mario Party. I'm not too sure if I got that. I got a couple of Mario games. Now, some people are saying that the Switch ain't gonna last very long due to companies pulling out. And I think this is a lot better than the Switch. You've got to give it. It's not Switch, better than the Wii U, I should say. Yeah, a lot better than the Wii U. Runs faster as well. Like, it loads up quite fast. But apparently they reckon it's way underpowered. But the thing is, if you're doing Nintendo games, then I guess you're not really. You should be sufficient enough to run Nintendo games. But any sort of like third-party games with good, decent engine, Unreal Engine 4, I think it's going to struggle. Big time. Definitely struggle. But I don't know. I don't know what you guys and girls think. But yeah, I think this has got potential. Give it time. I mean, there's not many games out at the moment, but when they start coming in full force, then people will be wondering where it all hit them and stuff. They're saying people moaning about the games so far, but apparently I think the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, when they first came out, they didn't have many games, and then suddenly I think like a year later started flooding through and people didn't know what the fuck to do. So yeah, I'm playing Super Mario at the moment in the carts and just driving along. I would actually show you some clip from the game, but I don't want my video getting like flagged or some shit by Nintendo. It's a shame that Nintendo can't come forward and allow people to play games, to upload games to YouTube. I mean, I get the thing if you don't want like monetizing. I get that, but they should still allow it so people don't get flagged for content shit. Because if you're uploading a game, what they should do is, if you're uploading a game, like game clips or let's plays of Nintendo games with the music and shit, then the monetization should be switched off. And the money or whatever should go to Nintendo, because they're the ones that came up with the games in the first place. And yeah, they deserve all the credit for making these games, because they're fantastic. They're quite fun. And yeah, and there's another game actually I want really actually on virtual consoles for the N64. Actually, if I want a whole back catalogue of N64 games to go on there, and then people don't have to use emulators to run them. They can just run them on here. Actually, what about GameCube as well? That'd be quite cool. Have a backlog for GameCube games, which would be quite cool on there. I don't know what you guys and girls think and all that. I'm just trying to come up with some suggestions. Maybe bring some of the 3DS games over. I don't know how they would do that, because the 3DS games would be different in a way, because the controllers are a lot different. I've got the 3DS, I've got the Wii, I've got the Wii U, now I've got the Switch as well, so I'm not biased against any consoles. I buy the Xbox One, I'll buy the PS4. I can't wait till Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out. I haven't played the other two yet, so I might have to get Kingdom Hearts entire collection. I don't know if they'll do like a sort of a collector's edition with all 3 games in it when the third one comes out. But I like the Walt Disney films and all that, like The Mermaid. I don't know if they made it Mermaid 2 or something, or if I could be dreaming about it, but I do like the Disney films. Also, I like Toy Story films. I've got all of them on Blu-ray. Well, Woody and what's that other one? Buzz Lightyear. Flipping fantastic. But yeah, there is one game I would love to come out on the Virtual Console, and that's Star Wars Pod Racer, guys and girls. Star Wars, the original Pod Racer game. But I think they would need, because of the new Star Wars game come out, the Battlefront coming out too, I think they're going to be pretty fucked. I think they won't allow it because it's Nintendo, and they need copyrights off LucasArts to actually play it. Or maybe do a remaster version of Pod Racer, because I would play that for fucking days. I'd probably buy the full version as well and pay like 50 quid for it, because that would be worth it. Because it had a lot of tracks on it, and it was crazy as well, some of the actual tracks. Alright, oh shit, I hope I'm not doing too much. Yeah, I'm just trying to get my, I got my little like sort of glider gliding through with Super Mario. Got some little fireballs. Oh, I love the fireballs. But I hope they bring Super Mario Brothers out for the Switch as well. Maybe do like a collector's edition of Super Mario Brothers 1 and 2. Like, I think what I would really like is the original Nintendo Wii version of the Super Mario Brothers. I think it was the one with the red case. Now that would be fucking awesome, because I've never played that. I might get it for the original Wii otherwise, and just play it on the original Wii, because I've got all the systems, so I'm not worried. But it'd be quite cool just to play them in HD. But seeing Super Mario and all that, I would love to play them in 1080p 60 frames per second, like do an upscale version of the older games. Oh, I'm choking to death. Anyway, guys and girls, I'll catch you all later. If you enjoyed the video, do like, favourite, share, and tweet me at Ant17387. And yeah, have a lovely morning, day, night, wherever you are. If you're in Australia, it'll be probably 5:12 in the afternoon, I think. So it'll be afternoon coming up to midnight almost. But or America is morning time, so actually it's still night time actually over there, roughly about, at the time of this video, it's got to be around about 11 o'clock, something like that. Anyway, guys and girls, have a nice one, catch you all later, stay safe and have a lovely day.